Welcome to the Grandstand Golf podcast. I am Kevin Bapty, and I'm joined as always by my brothers Craig.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And Adam.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Adam, why don't you tell us what just happened at the RSM Classic?
Yeah, so we had another playoff this year. Robert Streb and Kevin Kisner, both former winners of this event, went to a playoff after being tied 19 under through 72 holes. They parred the first playoff hole. We get to the second playoff hole. We're still on 18, and Streb almost holes out for eagle. Ended up tapping in for birdie. Kisner made par, so Streb kind of took home the win. Craig, we mentioned on our Saturday YouTube show not to discount Robert Streb with that huge lead going into Sunday. He was down a stroke to Kisner with 2 holes to play. Did you think he had a chance with 17-18 coming up to get back in it?
Well, I did think he had a chance, and at that point, I was cheering against him having a chance because
really,
I rostered both Kisner and Streb in showdowns on Sunday, right. But my top ticket ended up having Kisner and not Streb, so I could have pushed. I was in the teens at the time, and I could have pushed into the top 10. So. I was cheering against him for my own selfish purposes, but I mean, I definitely thought he had a chance.
I mean, yeah, I thought Kisner was gonna. I mean, I thought it was Kisner's to win. I mean, down the final stretch there, I thought it was Streb's to win going into Sunday, but Kisner had a great Sunday. I mean, Kevin, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, after Streb failed to birdie the par 5 there, I definitely thought Kevin Kisner was in the driver's seat. 17 wasn't playing easy either. You know, his birdie, his tee shot there was an impressive swing at that moment in the tournament. I was doing my live betting as I like to do, and I was looking at what I wanted to, whether I wanted to bet on Streb for a birdie on 18 or not, assuming he was going to have to birdie to get into the playoff. I was kind of taken by surprise that he managed to get it done on 17. So, yeah, I mean, the guy made some pretty impressive shots when he needed to.
I definitely thought on the first playoff hole that it was Kisner's for the taking.
Yeah.
You know, when he hit that, you couldn't really tell from the first shot they gave you of Streb's in the bunker, but I was like, man, that's close to the lip. Like, I think he's gonna have some trouble. And then Kisner hits it right down the middle. I'm like, I think this is done.
Yeah.
But you know, Kisner gave it a good look. He half, you know, a few rolls harder or a bit higher on that line, and that putt goes in.
Yeah, it was a good stroke. It was a good stroke.
Kisner did that the whole time. On 18 in like regulation, he pounded his birdie putt like 4 feet past. I think he had like maybe 25, 30 feet. I don't know exactly, but he gave it a chance. Like, he was like, I'm not leaving this short. I'm going to pound it in if it's going in, or it's going to go well past. I was like, you could bogey the 18th here.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty unhappy with his approach shot in there, you could tell. And it was almost like he was just like, well, damn it, I'm going to make it anyways.
Yeah.
And he's a good enough putter, you think he might just do it, but yeah, obviously, I guess when you're that good a putter, you have the confidence to make those comebackers. I wish I felt that way.
No kidding.
I feel that way, but then
Craig,
I miss the comebackers.
My big question for you is: Did you take the will there be a playoff bet going into the week?
No, although I should have, because this is now the tournament that has had the most. Or I forget what the graphic was they showed. The most since 2010, maybe. Tournaments decided in a playoff. 6 of the last 10.
Yeah, I'm just doing
RSM
quick math.
Classics or Big Gladiator, whatever it was called before.
4 of the last 5 were playoffs.
Well, I know going into the week, I'm unless I'm mistaking it, I'm pretty sure it was 3-1. So
that's just free money.
Missed opportunity.
I mean, but like, what are you doing? So you're making that bet on Wednesday at the latest, and you're waiting until Sunday afternoon.
That's not. The feedback isn't quite immediate enough for me.
Give me a 10-shot parlay.
I'll keep losing money on first round
and then
bets.
And then are you starting to like hedge with the live betting coming down the stretch? Like, I'm gonna hedge against that, losing that 3-1 bet.
And you'll be very confident, I'm sure. So you'll put a big stake on that too.
Yeah.
Here's the guy like, play off.
everyone else is like, what are you cheering for? Like, let's get this thing over with. But no, Robert Streb, thoughts? Like,
well, now 2-time winner, and they're both at Seaside Golf Club.
Yeah. So, I mean, what does that tell you? I think it means he's not the longest hitter.
I think he knows how to play the course.
He knows how to play the course, but it's a course where these guys who are not the longest hitters on tour can compete with anyone, because it doesn't give you as big of an advantage as it does at other courses. And I think that's why we see so much success from the Kisners and the Webb Simpsons and all the guys who have won here over the years. Or I guess Webb hasn't won, but
no, he's just been in the playoff.
Yeah, he does a good job getting into the playoffs and losing.
Speaking of which, Kevin Kisner now has an 0-5 career record in playoffs. I was pretty surprised when I heard that. What do you guys think of that, Adam?
I didn't know that going in. Like, I didn't know he was 0 for 4. It wasn't top of mind, anything like that. That's surprising because one of his big wins is the match play WGC. So he's clearly good on like the 1-on-1 match play type scenario. So like, I don't know if you just can chalk it up to bad luck 5 times, or is it
I
some
chalk
sort
it
of
up
pattern?
to stats. Just, you flip a coin enough times, you're going to get 5 heads in a row.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's such a good putter, and he made some clutch ones today. I don't really, it doesn't seem like he's the kind of guy that's gonna choke or anything
I don't
like
think
that.
I don't
and
think
there also, some of those playoffs may also be 3 or more person playoffs,
Right.
so it might not
Right.
all be head to head.
Actually, so I just pulled it up on Wikipedia here. So at least 3 of them are 3 or more.
Yeah.
And all of them are at least like second extra hole, 4th extra hole. Like, he's not going out there and bogeying the first hole or the first playoff hole.
Right.
So yeah, I think it is just dumb bad luck almost.
Yeah. Now, the one thing, I mean, to me, I love what we saw from Kisner this week. Adam and I talked about it on a showdown video during the week, but Kisner is one of these guys that he has a good sort of long-term baseline, but his last couple months hasn't been great.
Yeah.
And he's been losing strokes off the tee. So just a good, even though it wasn't a win, just a good bounce back into form, I think, for Kisner.
Well, I also like to see, I mean, we might be cheating a little ahead here and getting into some of my stock up discussion, but it was nice to see he kind of sniffed the win there. He had himself close enough where a low round today, potentially he could get another win, and he went for it. A 63 on Sunday to get yourself into a playoff. I mean, that's, what more can you ask for? He really went after it. I was impressed. It's a guy who, he's a big name. He's really well liked, I think.
Like, do you say big name because it's Kevin, or
Kevin? Yeah, that's the biggest.
It's like right up there with Barack in terms of like how much clout it has.
Can he just go on like a first name thing, like a one name? Just Kevin. No, he. I know he's really well liked amongst other tour pros, and I like to see guys like that get theirs every once in a while. And like I say, he went after it today, and good on him.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys where, I mean, if you're out of the course and you have bunch of beers in the bag, like, you can't think of anyone more than like Kevin Kisner you want to play around with. Like, he would make you laugh the entire time.
I feel like I could think of other people, but I mean,
apparently he has a pretty good smack talk game.
Oh,
yeah.
does he?
From what I understand.
I was gonna say, maybe if I wanted like someone to be my partner in like a 2-person game, me and Kevin Kisner versus you two. How about?
Adam, I think you got the wrong Kevin in that one.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit.
So you alluded to the fact that short hitters can kind of keep pace here. What are your guys' thoughts on the course, Craig?
I liked it. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this whole 2 courses on the first 2 days.
I
don't really like that, actually. I don't like it at all.
I mean,
it's like spilling water in Craig's circuit breaker. Like, his computer's like, his data all messes up. He's like, I can't compute.
Yeah, it really does mess with my ability to plot things through the week. To me, it almost feels like if you're going to do that, then do one of each on the weekend, and then it's a bit more balanced. Like, it just seems a little. I think that, I guess they're trying to tease some play into the Plantation side. I'm sure it's also a nightmare for the broadcasters trying to set up to cover two courses and.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and camera crew and all that.
I also think it's
in
a
terms
little
of the
bit.
course, wind defended it well, I thought, when it was windy, and then you really saw the scoring start to come up today, which was cool because then you got to see, okay, any leads you had built up, they're vulnerable to charges, and you're getting a lot of 6, 7, 8 unders.
If the wind lays down, these guys can pick it apart, like no problem at all.
Well, and that's what I was going to say about the two courses thing is I think that it's a little bit like the morning afternoon split sometimes where you can get the bad side of the weather. But if you get the bad weather when you're playing a certain course, you could be potentially at a major disadvantage if one plays a little bit easier than the other. So I don't know. It's not my favorite thing. And
I think
you were saying with the
Seaside
broadcasting
gets exposed to the wind a bit more. So if say there was a windy day and you got it on that day, then you're really going to have a harder time than the other half of the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
which is, I think, what happened to a lot of my picks this week.
I
think actually the wind was pretty balanced on both days.
I was just say, like, I agree with that, but it's also like a pretty mid-tier PGA Tour event. Like, if it was,
I agree.
Whatever, a major, a WGC, it'd be a little bit hokey. But I mean, there's a reason this is the field that it is, and I don't know. There's a different dynamic.
Although this is the strongest field they've ever had, apparently.
That's true. Yeah.
Because of it being the week after the Masters and being so geographically close. I forget what tournament it was they said that usually gets the bump from being after the Masters. It's up, I want to say Harbortown, maybe. Somewhere just north of here. I want to say in the Carolinas, but yeah.
But I mean, doing the research for this tournament, if you like had some kind of match where it was like home course versus like home course, there are so many PGA Tour pros that call this place home or like it's their training facility. I mean, they would destroy it, or like the Georgia Bulldog connection. It seems pretty impressive, the complex here.
I think Jupiter could probably give him a pretty good run.
I think Jupiter.
Yeah. One of such guys that I believe calls course home, Harris English. He had a bit of a run here on Sunday.
Yeah.
Does he call Seaside home?
I don't know if he does for sure.
I thought I saw him in the snapshot.
Oh, he's a Georgia Bulldog for sure.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, but I can't remember for sure whether he does. But no, it's really nice to see that for Harris. The one thing I was thinking though, Harris, it's now been basically a year that he's really elevated himself, from being more like a 50 to 100 type player up into the, I don't even know where he is right now, top 20, top 30. But we haven't seen him win. So it's one of the things where like it's nice to see this from him on a Sunday. But he one of these ones like this where it is a bit of a weaker field. He's going to have to go out there and win it.
And he was in a really good position after 2 rounds. The 72 on Saturday.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
62, but to finish 3 shots back and have that 72 after 66, 66, 72, 62, kind of glares out there. It's moving day. He's moving the wrong way. I
just pulled it up. He hasn't won since 2013. So it's one thing to keep an eye on because I think he is playing potentially the best golf he's ever played. Yeah, definitely the best golf. He had a couple wins in 2013 and definitely the best golf since then. So it would be nice to see him knock off a tournament or two before we get into the full swing of next summer.
Yeah, to be a real kind of to solidify himself in the where is he at in the world rankings?
Top 30, 33rd.
Yeah, so to really solidify yourself in the top 50 and maybe move up a little further there, you definitely got to get some wins under your belt. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so to give you some context, he had fallen all the way to 183rd at the start of 2020. So
really, wow,
at the start of 2020, wow, that recent.
Well, good on him for turning it around. The picks this week, it sounds like you guys had some pretty epic picks in the showdowns. Unfortunately, going into the tournament, It's pretty ho-hum. We backed Henley and Webb Simpson for our winners and our one and dones, and that was T30, T37.
I just feel like I let a good start get away from me there. I was Craig, the only one that started Webb. You guys both started Russell Henley, and that feels like one I'd like to have back.
Webb was also, 4 or 5 holes out on Friday. He was not within the cut line.
Oh, I know. I was very aware.
I didn't want to step on you at that point, but I was close to texting you like, Craig, you burned one here.
Meanwhile, as soon as Webb was ahead of Russell Henley for 30 seconds today, I managed to grab a screenshot and send it to you guys.
Yeah, I got that one this morning. Thanks for that. What was that? 2 holes in?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Kidding.
Other than that, really nothing super significant pick-wise. Fortunately, in terms of my week-long ones, I was a little bit under return on my week-long DFS, but yet the showdowns made up for it, which was nice.
So DFS was kind of interesting this week. The big thing with DFS is to get 6 of 6, 6 of your players through to the weekend.
It was a bloodbath.
It was a complete bloodbath. So it was a huge field. You had these 2 courses. One didn't have the shot link data. So you're all you see is if you're on Corn Ferry Tour or whatever else you're tracking, these lesser tours, is shot 2 from rough. You're like, well, what kind of rough? Are they behind a tree? Are they?
What kind of angle are we talking about here?
Or shot 3 from other. You're like, oh god, what is that? But it was a complete bloodbath. Only 1%, around 1%, got 6 of 6 through, and I think something like 5 of the 6 or 7 highest owned guys missed the cut. Guys like Varner.
Well, Denny McCarthy was a big one.
Yeah.
HV3.
Sung JM.
Yeah. So I had lineups cash that were 4 out of 6 lineups.
I
really? Wow.
I'm in the top 3% that were 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, weird week for picks. Let's just say that. Yeah. At least starting the tournament anyways. After Craig started crunching the numbers though, he started to get into the zone a little bit with it. So
once I could narrow the focus a bit.
Yeah.
Before we do, I want to pat my own back because it seems like, Kevin, you're moving on here, but
I noticed it.
My sleeper got top 20 here, Chris Kirk. You guys, both your sleepers missed the cut, so
you should highlight that in the document if you want it to be brought up next time.
I'm highlighting it as we go.
Yeah. But no, the thing I loved about that is, Adam and I were talking about making lineups at the start of the week and on our Twitch show, and Adam was talking about this Chris Kirk guy, and what did you end up? 35% of your lineups had him.
Yeah.
And he's like a fairly deep sleeper in a field where you knew it was going to be a bit of a bloodbath just with the number of people going in. So it was it's a good pick. I'm happy to see it work out for you because it was one that you planted your flag firmly there, and it worked out. Did.
And he was about 1.5% owned, so he still maintained a sleeper despite how much I broadcasted it out. But
Chris Kirk is actually an easy guy to cheer for too. He has a bit of a story behind him, and I don't know if you know it or want to get into it, Adam, but he had some struggles. 2019, I think he came out of rehab. He's been dealing with alcohol issues. I think for a lot of his adult life. Seems clean and sober now. Young family. He seems as the top of his life right now. He seems like he's really turned things around. He was a very strong collegiate player, I believe, and early in his career had some success. Mm-hmm. And then just the battle of tour life and everything got to him a bit, and he did the hard thing and stepped away for a while to take care of himself and get himself better. And now he's back. I think he had a win early on.
Corn Ferry Tour this year.
That's right. Yeah. And then he finished high in a few tournaments already after the restart. And anyway, just an easy guy to cheer for. So
one of the other things from what I know, and I don't know his story that close, that well, but he's also been very open in talking about it, which I think that's awesome because, you know, there's all the people who are struggling with similar things or those type of things. And, you know, when someone, whether it's mental health or addiction issues or anything like that, that there's a stigma associated with, when people are able to be open about it, I think it's just like such a stand-up thing to do and can help impact so many people in a positive
100%. Yeah,
totally.
Completely agree.
Part of the reason he's just such an easy guy to cheer for sure.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we move on here, guys? Why don't we get into your good, bad, and ugly, Craig?
Okay, so this week, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're looking at our Masters top 10 follow-ups. So, you know, we're coming off a big tournament into, you know, one that is not as big, I guess would be the best way to put it. But we had a lot of guys who were in the top 10. We didn't have DJ making a start, and we didn't have Rory, but we still had some names. So starting off with a good, Corey Connors. He was.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help but notice you left JT out of that again. I just come on.
Sorry, anyway. I just went to 2 and JT, DJ JT. Yeah. So first up, starting out with the good, Corey Connors, our Canadian boy, tied for 10th at the Masters last week. He was tied for 10th here as well. Back-to-back top 10s. He was 66-64 on the weekend. You know, everyone was scoring a little bit better today, and he managed to keep pace with that. And for him, it moves him to 26 on the FedEx Cup rankings in the early season here. So, you know, last year we had Mackenzie Hughes make it into the top 30 at the end. So Connors is doing a good job positioning himself through the fall stretch.
Yeah, Connors was in the Tour Championship 2 years ago, so it'd be nice. You know, his game seems to be kind of getting back there a little bit. So yeah, nice to see him have another strong finish.
He's so good. I mean, his ball striking is extraordinary.
It's unbelievable.
Like
I didn't get a chance to watch tons of it this week, but watching the back nine on today, 17, 16, 17, 18. He's looking at birdie putts and he's just burning lifts. Finally dropped one on 18, but he could have made 4 birdies in the last 4 holes. Like, he's hitting it so good.
He's got that. He's got like that Emiliano Grillo. Like, you're like, man, this guy's like the best player. How is he? Oh, it's because he just keeps burning the edges.
Yeah.
You see like a par 5, I think on the back nine, it's like, oh, he got it to like 330 in the center cut. He has like 230 in. You're like, well, he's going to stick this at like 15 feet. Like, that's just how good his ball striking is.
And then hopefully 2 putts.
And then birdie.
But just, you know, you brought up the top 30. I just pulled up the golf rankings here. Is it top 50 get into the Masters if they're not already in?
I think that's right. No, he got in though because he's top 12 at the event.
Oh, right. Yeah. I was going to say, because it'll be something to keep an eye on, because he moved up to 54th in the world rankings. But yeah, he's in anyways. So good point, Adam. Okay, my next one, the bad. And, you know, I couldn't quite arrive on one here. I went with Sungjae and CT Pan. Both of them, you know, they just missed the cut line. Pan, I think, was the one that was a little bit more, felt like it let one get away. He was 3 under 67 on Thursday, and then he shot a 1 over 73 on the day. It was playing easier too on the second day, and the cut line was really starting to move there. But yeah, he missed by 1 and did it on Friday late. So that's the bad. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to either Sungjae or CT Pan.
Sungjae was the second highest priced guy in DFS, at least on DraftKings. So that's a pretty significant miscut.
And I think both of us said he wasn't in our pool, so feeling good. Yeah. Last one, the ugly, Dylan Fratelli. You know, came off a tied for the 5th at the Masters. He was +8 here. He was not even close to sniffing a cut line. Just a quick recap of the number of holes he had over par. There was 7 of them. He had 3 bogeys, 3 double bogeys, and a triple bogey in 36 holes of golf. So I hope he's happy with his Masters check and he can have a short memory on this one.
Yeah, no
you know
kidding.
what? I think it's pretty hard to not have a Masters hangover for a lot of these guys that kind of had a run there last week. Like somebody like Sung Jae, especially, he was right there. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess DJ was quite clear, but he got within a couple of DJ.
But like if say Cam Smith was playing this week, I think it'd be hard for him not to to like totally shift your focus into the next tournament.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Adam, why don't you give us your 3 stars for this week?
Yeah, so 3rd star, Camilo Villegas. There's a story here. So interesting story, sad story. But I'll jump right into it. If you don't know yet, or if you don't know already from the broadcast or watching golf, he lost his 22-month-old daughter, Mia, in July of this year. Just kind of a tragic loss. She had a battle with cancer. Very, very tragic for the family. He's had an interesting career, but on Thursday morning during his warm-up for this round, he saw a rainbow, and Mia's favorite things were rainbows, and he wears a rainbow pin, and they gave out rainbow pins in July this year, but he wears one. So he saw it. He thought to himself, like, hey, let's just have a good one. Let's just go out there and have a good one this weekend or this week. He ended up finishing tied for 6, and he was actually in contention for the majority of the weekend or of the tournament. But that tied for 6, it's actually his first top 10 since the 2017 Valero Texas Open. So it's been a long while since he's cracked a top 10 on the PGA Tour. At the start of 2020, he was ranked 2079th in the world. If you go back to 2008, he was ranked 7th. He got as high as 7th in the world rankings. So great to see him kind of come back, get a top 6. Just a tragic year for him and his family. And he said after that, he just wants to focus on golf. I'm sure it's a distraction for him. So it's great to see him playing better.
Yeah. They were teasing a documentary. I don't know if it's out already or if it's just about to come out or something, but that's going to be a hard one to get through. There's few things that are more tragic than children getting sick and dying. And him, the previews I had watched for this documentary on the broadcast, it's him and his wife, and they're just such beautiful people with like a beautiful outlook on trying to deal with the adversity of all this and move on and make what they can out of the adversity of the situation. And your heart just goes out to the guy.
Yeah,
both you guys have daughters, so I'm sure it makes it hit a little bit closer to home too.
Yeah, Kevin's are a little bit older now, or his kids are a little bit older, but mine's, right around there. When I told my wife this story on the weekend, she's like, "Oh my God, like I hope he wins." I'm like, yeah, I think everyone's kind of hoping he wins. Like, you can never, I don't think you can ever imagine what that process is like. And
my remaining somewhat quiet here is partly, you guys are saying it well, but also I just can't even. I get too choked up even thinking about it. I oftentimes read when the whole thing with Mia was kind of coming out to the public. I remember reading stories at work on my phone and just welling up and trying to hold it together because it's just such a sad story.
But I do have a question for you, Kevin, in terms of Camilo. I feel like the Telus World Skins game in 2008 was at Predator Ridge. Didn't you go with our dad and check him out there?
I did. Yeah, it was Camilo Villegas, Fred Couples, Greg Norman, Colin Montgomery.
That's a throwback.
I want to say Mike Weir as well as 5. And that was when Villegas was kind of he was doing his
doing the Spider-Man
thing on the greens, yeah. And so everybody was just calling for him to do that, and he finally did. Everybody goes crazy,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty cool event. He was still a pretty young guy then, but it was cool. Actually, no, I think it was Sergio was there too or something.
He's played in a lot of them. I was looking through kind of the history of the Telus World Skins, and
Sergio was at one earlier than that, I think.
Was it earlier? Anyway, yeah. Anyway, seems like a great guy, Camilo.
Yeah, absolutely.
But.
So
just seems like a nice guy too.
second star of the week, David Pastore. Have you guys heard of him at all? This one's
heard of him.
Have
no
you?
idea.
Okay, so I hadn't heard of him until this week. It's kind of a cool story. I was doing some more research. I just want to kind of share this quick story. He won this week's local IQ series. So it was actually the local IQ championship. It was the 7th of 7 events in this local IQ series. The local IQ series was created in 2020, bringing kind of the Mackenzie Tour, PGA Tour Latino America, and PGA Tour China as kind of this series to help these guys play some golf during the pandemic. So 7 events. This was the 7th. He won it. Doing so, he earned an entry into the 2021 Barbasol Championship and a $24,000 payday, which I'm sure is very, very nice. But interestingly, so it started on Tuesday. On Monday, he played in the RSM Monday qualifier, finished 5 under, and just missed the playoff by 1. So if he got into that playoff, got into the event, he might have, I mean, who knows? Maybe he got into the event and did well. Maybe he got in and missed the cut. But anyways, he didn't get in. Drove 5 hours north to TBC Sugarloaf, teed it up Tuesday morning, no practice round, and won this event.
So obviously his game's in good shape.
His game's, yeah. He ended up, I think, second in like the whole local IQ series long kind of race. But he's, from what I know, he's a Mackenzie Tour guy, so he's playing in Canada on the Mackenzie Tour. So yeah, I mean, to go from a Monday, like it's just that grind we talk about that I love. Like, you go from Monday qualifier, just miss that after shooting 5 under, which is great. You go up, you're in another tournament, and then you go and win that. Like, I love that.
Yeah, that 24,000 is almost what Webb earned me for a one and done total there.
Yeah. I guess that's why he probably would have played in the RSM if he got in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, good for him. Yeah, that's cool. You know, and getting those opportunities in the Barbasol and what was the other one you said?
Oh, just the Barbasol. I mean,
yeah, just the I mean, even one opportunity, like it's all it takes for these guys. Let's look at Corey Connors. Monday qualified at the Valero Texas Open and won it, and the rest is history.
Life has changed ever since. But I mean, you win an event, you get 1 entry, like.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
But you'd almost think they would you get some kind of Corn Ferry status or something like that out of it, because essentially those are their tours that are in the tier below that I guess typically you can if you finish higher on the Mackenzie, don't you typically get some kind of status the next year on the Corn Ferry?
I think so, yeah. And I'm sure it's just a weird year, right?
It's such a weird year, and I think it's the hardest for these people who are on the lower tours, because the normal way of doing things has been so disrupted.
There's actually a pretty interesting YouTube series for a couple local IQ guys. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think they kind of give like 3 or 4 of these guys a camera set, and they film kind of like a vlog style, and then they kind of splice it together into these 10-minute YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it just kind of shows their life behind the scenes. There's one guy that's from, I want to say, Argentina. Where is Grillo from?
Grillo's Argentina.
Yeah, I want to see that. You hear the confidence? Argentina.
Anyways, he's friends with him, and like, there's all these guys traveling together from like Airbnb to Airbnb in their rental cars, and it's just like the grind of. I mean, they're
not
so
quite
far away
sharing the private plane to get from tournament to tournament.
No, they're not landing on that private airship right next to the RSM.
Yeah, well, still on. I forget if it was Wednesday, but Adam and I was like, I don't get why all these pros would live here. Like, it's not like there's a major airport hub around. And I'm like, oh wait, there's that little airport where they land in their G5 Gulf streams, and they don't need to worry about getting into a major airport hub.
Yeah.
There's a whole series of airports we just don't even know about.
Yeah.
It's not on our network. Okay, first star, Robert Streb. Won the tournament in a playoff, second win here. I don't know what else to say. I mean, we mentioned a lot. He played hockey growing up, so he's got that 10-finger grip with no gloves. I'm sure you guys heard that on the broadcast. But I did pull one interesting stat. It is from PGAtour.com, but he played hockey with NFL quarterback Sam Bradford.
Who's also a pretty good golfer.
Is he?
If you didn't know that, yeah. I want to say he's like a scratch golfer.
Oh wow, yeah.
Like, well, maybe he should have stuck to it. It seems like his knees are more equipped for golf.
Yeah, made a pretty good go of it though, salary wise.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
So Streb, Streb, did he go wire to wire? I forget if he was first round leader or tied for first round leader.
It's hard. I mean, because one of these courses was a par 70, one was a par 72. It's so hard to know with this tournament.
Yeah.
But he was the 36 hole leader, I believe.
Definitely 54.
He was 36 and 54 for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, impressive win. What can you say? All right, well, I wanted to mention Sei Young Kim, who won the Pelicans Women Championship. She was the leader going into the final round today after firing rounds of 67, 65, 64, and then kind of just took care of business today, shooting a 70 to complete a 3-shot victory. It's actually her second straight victory because her last start was the KPMG Women's PGA Championship back in October, where we talked about it on the podcast, but she won her first major in impressive fashion. So, talk about somebody's game who's in shape. That's in shape. She's winning everything she enters these days.
And I believe as these other tours wrap up, we still have a LPGA major this year. I'd have to look it up, but I think we still do on the calendar year.
Yeah, so that's one to look forward to. Yeah, like you say, as some of these other tours are taking a break over the holidays.
The U.S. Women's Open is December 10th to 13th at Cypress Creek.
Right on. So maybe she'll win that. She seems to be winning everything. Maybe she'll win the next 5, just like DJ.
Just like DJ.
Also wanted to mention.
So that came on. I had the RSM broadcast on and just left Golf Channel up, and the LPGA came on, and my wife was like, "You just hate it if I was able to golf like that. I'd just be whooping you." And I was like, "Babe, I would love it if you could golf like that. I'd happily get beat, and I'd be like, man, check out how good my wife is at golf."
If you would have me, I would be on your bag, cleaning your clubs, doing whatever you want.
So I want to mention Corey Connors too. With his 64 today, he won the RSM Birdies for Love competition. So this was at the completion of the RSM tournament, whoever had made the most birdies since the start of the 2020-2021 season won $300,000 that RSM was going to donate to a charity of their choice. So the 64 today moved Connors up the leaderboard and also locked him in as the winner of the Birdies for Love competition. He finished with 147 birdies, which was 6 more than second place, Sepp Straka. So I guess him and his wife, Connors and his wife, started a foundation in Ontario last year, providing education and athletic opportunities to help children that otherwise couldn't afford them. I just want to give them a shout out for that. They're going to be able to grow their foundation a little bit, and
that's great.
Also a shout out for RSM just for putting that competition together and putting up that money.
So Kevin, how many rounds would it take you to get to 147 birdies?
Honestly, I'm usually pretty happy if I get one around these days. So 147.
Man, there's no way I have 147 birdies in my life.
In your life?
I don't think so.
I think
I feel like for the listeners, we need to say that how much golf we play a year. I have a lot of winter up where I am. I can't play year round. I'm happy if I get 10 rounds in the summer.
Well, I'm happy if I get 10 rounds.
20 rounds. I get 10 rounds. I'm happy if I get 20.
Unfortunately, I'm not limited by my weather as much, but more by my life a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with 10 rounds a year these days. But that's going to change. It's going to change one day.
Guys, we could scramble our way to some of those birdies.
If we're counting scramble birdies, then I'd easily.
So
that's when I play my best golf.
Last thing I wanted to bring up was that I'm sure everybody's heard this, but Tiger will be playing with his son Charlie at the PNC Championship in December. It's Charlie and Tiger's first official tournament together, and has pretty much made the otherwise, I don't know, unknown PNC Championship must-watch television this December, I'd say. I'm hoping it's on television now anyways.
I think I saw some odds out. I didn't know this was a betting event, but I'm sure you locked in your Tiger Charlie bet already, Kev.
I haven't. I haven't even seen the odds yet, so I'm gonna have to get on that. Is there a to be a playoff one yet?
I don't know.
I better get on that now.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's just move right into our stock up, stock down this week. Craig,
sorry, I was just looking up what the PNC Championship is. So essentially, it's major winners or players championship winners. And
was that why Daly's in it?
And then essentially they get to bring a family member. So I don't know is it Charlie's his son's name?
Yeah.
I don't know whether there's a lot of kids that young who are, because I'm just looking at photos here and they're like, it's like Bernard Longer with his like adult, probably grandson.
Yeah.
Maybe it's his son.
Charlie's got game, all right. I'm sure you've seen the swings on, on the paparazzi swing videos that they're getting of Charlie.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, no. So that's the thing I was gonna say is I didn't realize what the PNC Championship was, but I'm a little bit happier if this is what it is, because it's like something that exists for the purpose of the media and of the show of it. I thought it was kind of like they were, they were going to become a total sideshow of something that is not really about them. But this is exactly. I'm way more on board now than when I first heard this.
Craig, I know you love to slam on Tiger.
Well, it's not even that. I like to slam on the media coverage and like everyone. Co-opting everything else going on in the golf world to talk about Tiger Woods. Like that's more what I hate.
Anyway, regardless of you slamming on him all the time.
Just because you talk about him all the time.
Well, welcome to my world with Peyton Manning. All right. I'm forced to slam on the guy because Craig's always talking about him. But no, regardless of what anybody says about Tiger, the one thing that everybody, it seems, says is he's a good dad and seems to genuinely love his kids and want to be around them. So I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So wait, you don't have to be a major championship winner, do you, to be in this?
Or a players championship winner.
Or players, got it.
The fifth major, man.
Okay.
Well, PGA, they love to pump up their own event like that. Okay.
I was wondering why Kuchar was in.
Good to move into stock up, stock down.
Yeah. Get us started, Craig.
Okay, so I'm going up on Camilo Villegas. And I know Adam, he just told us a lot about the story and the reasons to like him for a lot of good human reasons. But he was brought up on our Twitch show on Wednesday as a potential sleeper here. And, I can't remember offhand who it was that had brought him up. But I think both Adam and I said that he had a really good start at the Sanderson Farms, and he has at times looked good this year. It's been tumultuous though. After this week, I'm gonna take some flyers on him in the future for DFS, just because when his approach game seems to be so good at times that can really carry you to high finishes in tournaments. So, stock up. I'm gonna start to. I'm not gonna put 35% of my lineups in like Adam made, but I'm definitely gonna roster.
Crazy guy. Yeah, I like it. I mean, his ball striking's been pretty impressive. But I agree. Like he seemed high risk for this week. But hey, I mean, if you plugged him in, it worked.
Yeah, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Okay, my stock down, someone I did roster in a few DFS, Harold Varner III. It's been too many times I feel like recently that I've been burned by him, and I was, saying that don't let his Friday in Bermuda when he, should have made a cut there and just blew up to miss it. Don't let that get you down.
Crazy wins.
In crazy wins, yeah.
Yeah.
So, maybe it is just a stock down in the wind. He missed the cut. He opened 75 his first round. It's just, I'm not going to commit to any sort of significant, this is maybe just a DFS one, but I'm not going to commit. Maybe I'll throw a lineup or two with him in, but he's not going to be a highly owned person by me. Just because I worry, where he's usually priced, you don't want people who are going to miss cuts in fields like this. And so, it's a stock down for me.
He seems to swing a lot, doesn't he? Like he'll finish high, and just when you think that's the problem, the problem, right, Adam?
75 times in a round.
No, he seems his performance or his finishes seem to swing quite drastically. Right when you think he's playing well, he'll miss a cut, and you'll stake him, and he misses a cut, just like you say, Craig. So tough guy to continue doing that with right now when he keeps burning you, no doubt about it. Adam,
I feel like it's possible that he could be Craig's stock up here pretty quick too. I think
watch out for it next. Oh, there's no tournament. Watch out for it in 2 weeks. Yeah, if you really want to look for someone to get on board, jump on the bandwagon, I'd say whoever I'm stocked down in the week before.
Yeah. Okay, my stock up, Doug Ghim. So again, I mean, talking about our Wednesday night Twitch show, it's a great conversation we have in there, and one of our loyal listeners is from Chicago, and his dry cleaning place that he goes to is owned by Doug Ghim's aunt and uncle. So he gives us all the inside scoop on Doug Ghim, and they have photos of him up there. I'm just picturing like the Seinfeld and Friends dry cleaners where they have the celebrities, but it's only Doug Ghim up there. So he finished 14th this week.
So let me get this straight. If you listen to the Twitch show or watch the Twitch show, then you're getting inside scoops from
absolutely
on Doug Ghim, and who knows what other connections there are.
Who knows what other obscure relatives?
With the community of the stream there.
The dry cleaner aunt and uncle connection is one of the best inside scoops in the biz. Like that. You can't get any better than that. Anyways, former number one amateur in the world. So very talented player. But he kind of didn't do great when he turned pro in 2018. He has 4 top 25s in his last 5 tournaments. He was 14th at the RSM. It's just consistent this year. He's really kind of turned his game around. It's stock completely up. I mean, I think he's going to continue to make noise. I think we're going to see some top 10s. I mean, who knows what happens in the near future or later this season. I mean, I think he has the talent to pull an early win or something like that.
Now, if you recognize the name, he has been brought up. I don't know how much we brought him up on the podcast. We definitely bring him up on DFS Talk a lot, but he was brought up in the My Boys episode because he was the one who Doc Redman? Yeah, Redman knocked off to win that U.S. Amateur.
Oh, yeah.
Just in like devastating fashion.
Where Redman went unconscious for 2 holes, right?
I forget exactly what it was, but like eagle birdie or something like that.
Yeah, that's a tough loss. I mean, you think you're doing everything right, then someone just holds it again.
And I think he drained like a 60-foot
eagle putt to stay alive.
Yeah. Adam, who do you have moving down this week?
Stock down, Cameron Davis. Not one of my boys, my official boys, but I mean, a guy I talk a lot about. 25-year-old Aussie, extremely talented. We talked about him on the pod, I think, as that right and left hand swing that's as good as any right left hand swing, like on tour. Like, it's just gorgeous how he swings the golf ball.
And especially how he swings the golf club, but the ball.
Golf club. I guess how the golf ball reacts to it, whatever. Busy year, Craig. I think this might hit close to home for you. He married his girlfriend in September. They also got a new puppy this year.
Oh, man. My stock is up.
Anyways, the puppy's name is Hobbs. I don't know if it's a Calvin and Hobbes thing, but I know we're all big fans of Calvin and Hobbes.
Man, honestly, with a young puppy, I understand now why his game is struggling. There's probably all these little needle sharp bite marks on his hands, and
the puppy was a little bit while ago. I was creeping his Instagram. It's a few months ago. The marriage is new as of September. Anyways, 2 tournaments ago, he was in the Vivint Houston Open. He made the cut, but then he went 77-75 on the weekend, just completely blew up. Finished 68th, which was last of the people who made the cut. This week went 70-70, missed the cut. I had a little bit of stake of him in DFS. There's so much potential with him that I think the Houston is more concerning than the 70-70, I think, here, and missing the cut -2. But perhaps the break's coming at a kind of opportune time for him to like reset. Family time, puppy time, dog time, wife time, come back in 2021. And then, his potential, I'm just so excited about his potential, but right now, his stock is down for me.
Yeah, I think to me, it's almost, I forget if it was the last week at the Masters that we were talking more, less stock down and more just disappointed. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I still think, like, my stock is I'm still thinking that Cameron Davis is going to turn it on here pretty soon and put the pieces together, because his talent, it's absurd how much talent he has as a ball striker. Yeah. So it feels like it should just be a matter of time.
Yeah. We always talk about the stock down is often people that we really, really like, but are like just kind of disappointed us. Yeah. But he falls into that.
Let me just assure you that my stock down does not fall into that category for me. First,
Kevin's always bringing the hate.
First, my stock up is Kevin Kisner. We talked about him at the top of the show. For me, he's somebody that just has kind of fallen off my radar a little bit. You think of him as a pretty steady, making the cut, getting solid finishes guy, but he's kind of been a little bit down from that, I feel like, lately. I haven't really seen his name on leaderboards as often. So kind of nice for him to just sort of get thrust back up to the top of the leaderboard for a week and hopefully get some confidence, and maybe he can use this to kind of create a little bit of momentum for himself and kind of get back to that level of play I think that we're used to from him. So good showing. Stock up for me. My stock down is Zach Johnson. Not a guy I'm particularly fond of.
You just love to hate people. Like, what's your hate for Zach Johnson about?
It's just not one of my favorite guys out there. I haven't cheered a lot for him over the years. I
feel like who ever beat Tiger in a tournament, you just have like a hate on for them.
He's taking it down a couple majors that could have been somebody else's. I don't know. It's just he had a chance to win though, 2 back at his home course, I believe. Going into Sunday and really shot an uninspiring round today, 2 under. He didn't need to do too much to kind of keep pace, and he didn't. Yeah,
so Zach Johnson was someone I was high on coming into Sunday, and I do feel like it was a little bit of a let one get away from him. With the scores you saw up there at the top of the leaderboard, to go 2 under, it really felt like you left an opportunity.
Yeah, I think low scores are out there, and I don't know how often he has a chance to get a W anymore, and he had one today and he didn't do it. So
now that said, and maybe from a more bringing the scope back out, going into the Wyndham, he was outside of qualifying for the playoffs last year. He's still, like, his last 2 months, he's been on a great tear. And another top 10 here. So yes, a little disappointed he didn't do more. But I like where his game's at.
Listen, this might not be an accurate reflection of his trend line of performance. He's somebody I saw up at the top of the leaderboard who I thought I could.
Sorry, I'm just saying that, like, for those who are like potentially going to roster him in DFS or things like that,
it might still be a good play. I'm not sure.
First off, I agree. It's disappointing. He had a triple bogey on 7 today, the par 5, which is like you can't do that on a par 5. He hit it in the water. But Zach Johnson, He's 5'11", 164. He's 44 years old. Like, talk about a guy that's overachieved in his life, or like even on the tournament. I don't know.
It's just classic Kevin, though. Kevin hates the guys that like just squeeze everything out of, like, he wants the like super talented.
Okay, you want to know the truth of it? I'm looking for my stock ups and stock downs, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm not gonna just rip on one of these young guys like you guys like to. I'm gonna choose a guy who can take it, and I know Zach can take it, so he makes my stock down list. All right.
That's nice of you, actually. I appreciate it more now.
Poor Cam Davis. I'm gonna have to write him an email here and just say,
apologize.
Chin up, man. Chin up.
You got the wife, you got the puppy.
The wife and the puppy. Things are good, man. Don't worry.
You're
about
sliding into his DM. So my brother here was ripping on you, but
it doesn't matter what Adam's saying. All right, your life's on track.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. All right. Well, yeah, the holidays are coming up.
The holiday season is upon us.
It is upon us. Thanksgiving next week, so that's a week off for the tour, I believe. The PGA
Thanksgiving
tour.
in the U.S.
Yep.
Ours was a month ago.
Ours was a month ago. So yeah, I mean, first off, we hope everyone is safe over the holidays and following protocols wherever you live.
Wash your hands, wear a mask, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough time for everyone. As brothers, we won't all be able to get together this year like we like to try to around the holidays. But there's still lots of different ways to connect and pass on love and kindness to each other. And so let's all try to do that.
Here.
So I guess let's have a little holiday roundtable here, guys.
Let's do it.
Why don't you start us off, Adam?
Okay, so we're in the holiday season. Let's have some holiday cheer. I mean, I think Thanksgiving, but then like the Christmas season is upon us. So I was going to throw a question out to you guys. I mean, I don't know how it is around the world or for different people, but Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner for us has traditionally been very similar. It's kind of the turkey, all the fixings, that kind of thing. Am I wrong here? Or
you're absolutely.
Good? Okay, so my question to you is, what on that table is your favorite dish? And what, I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening, but what would a dish that you'd be fine to never see again? I mean,
Craig,
Kevin,
you go first, Craig.
Well, I feel like I should say mashed potatoes just because in our family it's like,
what is your favorite?
It's a running joke that like I take all the mashed potatoes from the dish, but
yeah, if you're behind Craig on the table as the mashed potatoes is going around, you're not getting anything.
I think it happened like once that I finished the thing, and then ever since then,
3 big scoops and then you volcano it.
I was a growing teenage boy. No, but man, I'm a sucker for those yams. Maybe it's because they sprinkle brown sugar and pecans on top of them.
Yams.
But I mean, I'd say either the yams, or if I can go beyond just a single dish, I like that fork where you get a little bit of mashed potato, a little bit of stuffing, a little bit of turkey with gravy on all of it. I love that mixed together fork full there.
Here. I'm gonna second that.
Wait. What about one that you don't even touch on the table?
Oh
yeah, I
cranberry sauce. Who needs
cranberry
it?
sauce. Agreed. It's almost like we come from the same table.
Okay, so I haven't touched cranberry sauce, I think, in my life, or I might have like licked it once. I'm like, not for me. Doesn't our sister make it?
No, our sister's always choked because she's the only one that wants it, but then our mom always forgets to put it on the table.
So it's like pull out the cranberry can from
it's canned cranberry sauce. The joke this year was that like, if it was Kevin that wanted it, it'd probably be like a made from scratch cranberry sauce pureed, and it'd be
as a loyal listener to our podcast, Laura, I'd like to apologize for that you didn't get your cranberry sauce this year. I should have texted Mom and let her know that she should get it out there for you.
All right, Kev, what's the best?
So what I wanted to know is what your guys' thoughts are about
Wait.
You didn't say your favorite thing, and I haven't had a chance.
No,
to
I
say
said I doubled up on Craig's thing, and I said I was going to take the cranberry sauce too.
What's your favorite?
I'm a turkey. I'm a sucker for the turkey. I love the turkey, the skin. Give me a nice crispy.
No, dark meat.
I just whatever piece I can get some crispy skin with. You know, it doesn't really matter if it's breast or a leg or whatever it is. I just want some of that crispy skin.
You just need that turkey skin. Okay, well, this is a new one for me, and I never thought I was going to get there, but stuffing. My wife now makes this incredible stuffing. I didn't really get stuffing, and it's no slight to.
Are you saying that mom's stuffing?
You hate mom's stuffing. Unbelievable.
But it's just like
another loyal listener to the podcast. Mom, I'd just like to apologize for this.
This is a hard-hitting segment for those two right now.
Yeah, this fluffy segment is really gone.
But I love so. I mean, kind of similar to Craig's. I love anything you can pour gravy on. But I mean, stuffing has been my new favorite these past few years. So I'm a stuffing guy.
Okay, and what are you getting rid of?
What are you getting rid of?
Cranberry sauce. But I'm not a big yam guy. I'm not a sweet potato.
Interesting.
Brown chicken. That's not my favorite. I'll get a little scoop on there, but.
Another one I'd like to throw out that have not typically at our ones from our childhood, but Brussels sprouts. I'm not really.
I like Brussels sprouts. That for my family. They're delicious.
Yeah, I'm on board. It has to be cooked in butter, but.
Yeah, and some bacon makes it better.
Yeah,
but you're just trying to hide the Brussels sprouts.
Really, it's not about the Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts are a vessel.
It's a vehicle.
Yeah. All right, so my question to you guys was going to be, when is it too early to switch to the Christmas music?
Well, I think it depends.
And then as a follow-up, when is it too early to start bringing out the decorations and decorating? Because I personally spent a good chunk of my weekend this weekend doing my Christmas lights, and I think a lot of people did, and I think it's kind of perfect timing. Usually I'm too late. I think this year, I took advantage of a nice weekend here, and I got them up, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. But when do you think is typically the right time to kind of shift gears into Christmas?
So I think it depends a lot on where you are, because here in Canada, I mean, we're already dark. Like if you're working, you don't see the light in the morning. You don't see it. It's dark when you get home. So we have our Remembrance Day, which I think in the States is Veterans Day, on November 11th, and I think that has always been the convention that you don't get too Christmassy until after that. I think it's similar to how in the States you wait until after Thanksgiving before you start to get the Christmas music and the Christmas decorations. So
now the only thing I'd mention is this year I think it might be a little different because let's face it, 2020's kind of sucked in a lot of ways, and I think that people are looking for kind of any bits of joy this year. And I think if you're one of those people, some people just love the Christmas thing, they just they can't get enough of it. And I think that if you're one of those people and you want to bring out the decorations early this year, I say you go for it. Make yourself as happy as you can.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
I mean, I got a couple thoughts. So first off, I completely agree with the November 12th thing in Canada. I think that's perfect. But where I live, if you're waiting till November 12th, you might be on an icy driveway all the way until April 15th. I mean, like, if you don't get them up, if you're hanging lights on your house or whatever it is, you might not have an opportunity. So it's kind of like whenever the driveway is going to be clear, you take that opportunity to get on the ladder so you don't hurt yourself and put some lights up.
Yeah.
But Christmas music, my wife is heavy into that, so that's all we listen to now. So yeah.
And how does it make you feel?
The big problem with Christmas music, if you get into it this early, is that like you can't go full Christmas music because you're gonna be burnt out. Like you need to let's say we're gonna have a bunch of different whatever channels or playlists that we listen to today. Maybe we sprinkle in one that's a Christmas music, and then maybe first week of December we get a couple there, and then as it gets closer and closer, just that ratio can grow.
Yeah, I mean, it's All I Want for Christmas Is You by different artists over and over and over and over again. I get it. And then I think of Love Actually, it's you and you and you, and I get it. It's a great song.
All right, Craig, you got any holiday questions for us?
Yeah, and if you guys, this one's not in our document here, but so if you need a sec, we could take a sec. But I was gonna say, what's your favorite? You can go Thanksgiving, you can go Christmas, but what's your favorite TV episode? TV holiday episode.
I mean, right off, I guess I can go. There's two things that come to mind. I think the first one might be more Kevin's is Festivus for the rest of us, Seinfeld. But I mean, what comes to mind for me is Friends, Brad Pitt, Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
classic.
That's also where the yams get involved.
Yeah. The yams get involved. I think that's the one where Joey eats the entire turkey. I mean, all these things are revealable, or it's not the big reveal one, but there's like the whole Rachel thing, the I Hate Rachel fan club. I mean, Friends Thanksgivings were like a whole thing in their own. So I'd have to say that.
Yeah, definitely. Festivus is top of mind. The airing of grievances from Frank Costanza is pretty classic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that.
I was trying to think of an Office, because that's, you know, how he always got the background sitcom playing through, and I couldn't come up with a good holiday one though. So there's one
classy Christmas,
or that one's great where he only gets like the bass player instead of the quartet. The other one where he gets Ryan the iPod video.
So that is a good one. That's the one with the teapot. But no, the one that comes to mind is the Friends Thanksgiving football one.
That's a classic.
And just like my favorite part of that whole one was Joey and Chandler trying to compete for the Dutch girl. And I can't even remember all the lines, but
oh, that one's so good.
Just ripping the shirt right off his back.
Well, yeah. So like we said off the top, we hope that everybody enjoys this holiday season, does get joy out of it, and definitely, you know, think about others, pass on the love and the kindness any way you can, despite kind of these unusual times, and enjoy the holiday safely.
More so than ever in 2020. Pass it forward, pay it forward.
So as we were mentioning, upcoming tournaments, there's a break for Thanksgiving in PGA on the PGA. The European Tour has the Alfred Dunhill Championship, November 28th to December 1st in South Africa, and then the PGA Tour is back for the Mayakoba Classic, Golf Classic, December 3rd to 6th. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking forward to. Guys, do you have any content coming this week that you want to mention?
We'll do something for that European Tour. We'll do a DFS betting video for that European Tour event. The other one that's not mentioned here, I mean, there's a few more European Tour ones, and they've changed up the whole race to Dubai. They're doing, I believe it's just a single tournament that's going to be in December. So that'll be, I think, the only time we may see some of the biggest names or some of the bigger names in golf before we get into the new year.
Names like Patrick Reed, Colin Morikawa, I want to say Fleetwood. So like, pretty big names.
All the Euros you'd expect, but then there's a few Americans that are going out there.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, I think that pretty much covers us for this week. We'd like to thank you all for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our content and our channel on YouTube. These guys are gaining some momentum with these picks. I tell you, you gotta start following these picks. Thanks again for listening. Check out all our content at grandstandgolf.com, and we look forward to talking more golf with you in the future. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
See you next time, guys. Take care.